All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're here for day number 2 at Galot Motorsports Park. Had a great show here last night. No doubt a power track. We saw some cool stuff with the dual fuel class, the run what you brung class. That's pretty interesting. I got Calvin Miller here with Running in the Red and Dewey Jones with the Hoss and the Light Pro. Dewey's got a little bit of an off night tonight, unfortunately. But to go through some of the action, you guys were in it last night. So what was some of the things you saw in that track? What were some of the things you were looking for when you were testing that track? What was the big thing?
Well, I've pulled here several times before, and last night was one of the best tracks we've ever had here. This is one of the only few tracks that we ever put weight on the back end of a tractor. Last night I had every ounce I had on the nose, and it wasn't enough. So they had a real great track.
And Calvin, you got the win last night.
I did.
And I know that had to feel good to you too. This is a new track you've never run here. What did you think about the dirt down here in the South?
Well, early in the afternoon, I wasn't too impressed, but I was talking to one of the gentlemen, and he said, don't give it any advice till you pull on it once. And I tell you, the tractor class was before us, the dual fuels, and then we pulled, and I was very impressed with it. And I usually I don't run that much pounds of boost, only usually like 109, 110, and I pushed 119, 120 last night, so it took some power.
And you had there's tough competition in that class. I mean, it can be anybody's ball game.
It is.
With some of the trucks. I mean, you've got, multi-charger trucks, you got single-charger trucks, you got nitro trucks. I mean, you got it all in that class.
Yeah, and usually it is anybody's ball game. It's how you drive your truck and get it hooked. And, I've been pulling since 97, and you don't have it every night. Sometimes, you just give it your best and things fall together and you take your wins and run, because the next night you could end up last,
Well, being night too, and that's one thing I think you're going to see with some of the competition you got in that class. They got a good run on that track. They're going to look at it and they're going to be like, okay, this is what I need to do for tonight. So this track's still going to be a little bit different because it's just like any track. Saturday night's normally a little different than Friday night, but if you got a good read on it Friday, that should give you a little bit of advantage in that class, no doubt.
Absolutely.
So, Dewey, unfortunately, tell us what happened to your tractor. You had probably one of the best runs all season. That tractor hooked up, hauled the mail, and I mean, one of the prettiest runs I've seen. What is, well, let's start off with this. What have you been working on all season trying to get that baby running?
Well, over the winter, of course, everybody's trying to improve on what they had last year. We made a bunch of changes, and we ran very well last year, staying up in the top 3 a lot of the times. And the changes we did over the winter, we kind of went backwards. So we kind of had to back up. We actually ended up, my little 7-year-old grandson told me, he said, "Paul, you need to put the old parts back on." And we finally got to the point that we did do some of the old parts, but we changed tires too. But it's taken a while to get all of the water back, because everything changed. We changed crossovers, we changed intakes, and so it just changed everything. And we didn't have a chance to go to the dyno, so we've been dynoing on the track, and we knew we wasn't right. We knew we had it heavy on water. But last night was the first night I went down the track that I didn't have a water flutter. And like I say, I didn't get the win, but 326 foot, I was happy. And with the competition we got out here, so we on the right track.
Well, I tell you, Hunter Beasley was talking about that light pro class a little bit. Hunter Beasley, had some engine damage in the middle of the season, got everything put back together. And that tractor, after winning the Enderley for Region 4 and went up there and won the whole kit and caboodle, he came out here last night and put on one heck of a show, no doubt.
That's always been an awesome tractor. That tractor has got more movable weight than most of the rest of us in the class, which is a great advantage. Like I said, last night I had every ounce of the weight I had on the nose and could have used another couple 100 pounds.
Well, so in that case, say if you've got all the weight on the nose, what do you do in order to get, maybe you want to take a little bit of that hook away? What are your other options in that case?
Well, if I could run tonight, I was going to lower the hitch. You can adjust tire pressure, adjust the hitch. There's several different options that you can do. Of course, the maximum. You want the maximum hitch height if you can control it. But like I say, with the track where it was last night, I was planning on lowering the hitch tonight.
Yeah, well, tough break for you. But I know. Hey, you know what? The engine ran good. Do you have all the parts to fix that clutch?
We had all of the parts except for one, and we actually had already talked to Carl at Atlas, and he was ready to ship them to us Monday, and we're still gonna get him to ship them. But I actually talked to Brad Gaultier, and just by chance, he's got the only part that we don't have, so he's gonna go ahead and give us his part in the morning. So we'll be able to go ahead and start on it, and we just order the parts and replace the parts that he's got. So we should be good to go for next weekend.
That sounds pretty good. I know that's going to be a big show down here. We run at the NC State Fair, and that is it's kind of a mess getting in and out of that place, but it's worth it because they have enormous crowds, and it's just something about the fair atmosphere being in that kind of venue is pretty cool. That, and it doesn't really do me any good for my figure at all because there's always some double dipped Oreo with chicken legs, or like last year I ate Jason Schultz made me eat a Krispy Kreme double bacon cheeseburger.
I don't know how they can fry what they fry, but they'll fry anything.
They will fry anything. Speaking of that, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget tonight. Actually, if you want to play a little wager game, you go to Full Pool Bets, and they actually have Full Pool Bets for Galot here this weekend. So if you want to go out there, play some games, go to Full Pool Bets. And you can pick. I mean, so if you look at some of the names that we got in here, I'm just going to pick some. And we had one heck of a hot farm class last night too, and had a first time winner last night in a hot farm class. Miss Beth McDonald, first win for that Revelation tractor. So I tell you, she was excited last night when we interviewed her down there in the middle of the track. She was she couldn't really believe it, but she did one thing that everybody else didn't do. When they got down at the end of the track and it started pulling them to the right, she didn't correct. She just let it go, and she beat Zachy Bissett by, I think, about 4 inches.
That's the way to do it, though.
I mean, and that's and even experienced drivers. I mean, you had some of the most experienced drivers that were getting pulled to the right, and they were correcting right there at the end, and she just left it right there and was hoping that she could carry it out the end.
If you can keep it between the lines, don't hit the brakes. Just let it go.
Exactly. Yeah.
So let's go to you, Calvin, a little bit. Your class, we were talking about the nitro, the multi-charger, the single charger. You've been in the sport for a long time. Tell us some of the accomplishments that you've had.
Over the start, I started off in the street diesel class. Actually, started at the bottom, and worked my way up. In 06, won the street diesel points championship with Full Pool. 08. I believe it was a super street class. Back then it was a super street with a 3.2/3.0 twin setup with the 3.0-inch chargers. Won that with the let me see, Diesel Motorsports that Gene Money used to run and own. And then it was a couple of years later on, we got a few more Rung with Your Brung championships. And in 2013, we had went to National Farm Machinery Show on our 3rd year, I think it was. We got invited to go there, and we were running a Scheid diesel billet aluminum block engine, the first one out, and it was the first hook, and we ended up winning that hook, and that was very, very impressive. It was a busy week. Wasn't feeling great. Just sick in the stomach, and some people call your butterflies are going, and crazy. But I ended up winning that, not expecting to win it. Usually that's how the wins come, is you just try to do your best, all the time. But when you least expect it, it seems like it falls into place and goes from there. And then last year, I won the points championship with USA East Full Pool again. And it was a year that it was rough on me.
And and we talked about that a little bit yesterday in the pits. You are a cancer survivor.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I didn't know it till 2 years ago in the wintertime what was going on. And so all summer last year I was doing chemotherapy and radiation treatments, and I even went to pools with the pump hooked up to me, and I have a port up here by my neck where it was plugged in, and I didn't have any energy, and I'm a go-getter. I don't like to sit around much, and I did get my walking in every day that I could, but as in lifting stuff, and I could barely do a whole lot of work. On the days I felt good, I did work. I own my own business, so I was trying to keep the bills paid and stuff. And I was going to quit pulling, and then I got some good friends that told me not to.
And
You gotta bear with me. I get a little emotional, but Corey Atley with the advanced yield from Jamestown, Ohio, Xenia area. He used to run the Ohio Cat truck, and we've been friends a long time. He actually taught me pretty much everything I know, him and his dad, Carl, at the beginning when I was starting in this class, like 2009, 10, I think. And he's like, "Hey, man, I got you." He's like, "You just go ahead and pull." He's like, "This is what you love to do, though, right?" I said, "Yeah, I mean, this is my passion. Like, this is what I do in the summer times, you know, and I love to hunt, but, you know, in summertime, you can't do much besides shoot groundhogs, you know." But yeah, he's like, we'll take care of you. And then another friend of mine that lives south of me, like 20 miles, Jason Perskowski, he's got a trucking business. He actually brought me down this weekend. He's like, "Dude, if you need hauled around anywhere," he's like, "just let me know. Like, all you got to do is just ask, you know." So he's been very, very helpful. And then, of course, Shides, they've been very supportive and kept me going and got my engine refreshed last year again. And I have Weimer's pump and turbo, which everybody knows Weimer's. They're only like 22 miles from me, I think it is. And they keep me going on my pump and my turbo. If anything ever goes wrong, you know, they're right there trying to help me out on it. And then I got Schaefer's Oil man that's a neighbor to me. He helps me out with Schaefer's Oil, Mark MacGyver. And then this year, you all know Angry Farmer, Todd Dugan.
Oh, yeah.
He stepped up to the plate and he's like, "Hey, I got all these engine parts." He's like, "They're out at Shides at the shop." He's like, "If you happen to break down," he heard I was in the points contending here this year. And he's like, I got all this. He listed off a whole mess of engine parts, you know, and he's like, "They're all yours. If you need it, you know, it's here. You just have to get out here to Indiana to Shides shop." And he said, "We'll fix you up." So that's been a real helpful thing. And last year at Bowling Green, I ended up breaking all of my drive line in 2 hooks. And
Wow.
I was, you know, I was leading the points at the time for full pull USA East. And then I go out there and Corey was like after me to come out there. And I said, "All right, I'll come out." And then the first night, I don't know, there was 22, 23 trucks or something like that we competed against. And I ended up like 17th, but I broke the SQHD rear end.
Right.
And the front end was fractured. And I actually run a Dana 60, which is a stock Dodge front end,
Right.
with just a hardened ring and pinion in it. And I changed that all out. And then the second night I go out and the Profab drop box reverser took a dump. Like I trashed everything else, not knowing the drive shaft had a bend in it.
It just grabbed it.
I mean, parts were flying in the cab. The drop box blew apart. Like the lid blew off. I mean, it was bad.
So, and we talk about Bowling Green. I've been to Bowling Green several times, and this year I was able to go. And one thing that I've paid more attention to, especially this year, that track, when you first look at it, doesn't look like there's much to it. But with the organic matter that they stick in that track and the way it is, you better have some horsepower and you better have some good parts. Because if you got a loose bolt or anything that's got a crack,
you'll find it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. This year I went back out, and the first night I got 14th or 17th. I'm not sure what it was now, but then the second night it was like a major power track for our style truck, the truck frame truck, and we ended up getting 4th place that night, and it was pretty impressive. But coming back to all the parts laying on the track and stuff, I went over to Larry Peterson at Profab, and I told him what my deal was, and I said, I have an issue with, I need some parts here, you know, and I've known them for a long time, Larry and Lisa both, and they're some good folks. He gave me a big hug and he said, "Listen," he's like, "I've been paying attention to what you've been going through," and he's like, "Whatever you need, pal, I got you." And I said, "Well, I need, you know, the reverse of the drop box, the immediate shaft, all the stuff," and he's like, "Dude, just give me a list. That's all you got to do. Give me a list." And he's like, "Call me Monday morning." This is Saturday night. I called him Monday morning at 8 a.m. and he's like, "I got your reverser rebuilder ready." And he's like, "What else do you need?" And he shipped them up to me till Friday or Wednesday, so I could put everything together for the Friday hook. And I tell you what, they're very good folks, and he was a man of his word, you know.
What?
That is definitely true friends, and that's actually what the pulling family is all about.
Absolutely. Very. I was, you know, I'm the type of guy that I don't like to ask for anything. If I can't get it on my own, it's kind of hard to ask. But, you know, when you're down in life, you know, you can't control what God has in store for you. But you do, you know, you do your best, and you always thank the Lord for giving you every day a chance to live.
Well, it's no doubt about it. He's got you here for a reason, and we're glad you're here. And, you know, with the victory last night, you know, you got first place, and Jaden was second. So.
Yeah, I honestly, I was just trying to do, you know, just stay in the top 5 is always what I always try to do, you know. And then, you know, this is our last 2 hooks, and Dougie Martin that runs the nitrous trucks. I wanted to be in front of him by 1 at least, you know. And it turned out that I took a 2-point lead on him. And he's a very good contender. He's won over the years. He's won championships too. So between the two of us, we're very consistent in what we do, and we love what we do. Put it that way. And we've always been there for each other to help each other out. And it's the whole group is pretty awesome. Over the last 2 years, I could say that you know, some of these guys, they take their shirt off their backs for you. You know.
Well, you see that even, I think that's with any pulling organization or pulling group family, because you see that everywhere we go, just like down here in the South with the United Pullers of the Carolinas and Carolina Truck and Tractor Pullers. And, you know, that's one thing you see down here is that if somebody's got a broke part, somebody's got another part, and if it fits,
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, we can express this.
Oh yeah, we help each other all the time around different shops, and we get to the pool, we'll loan each other parts, and then we go out of track, we try to whoop them, then we go back out to we'll break bread.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that's the best thing about pulling is you always you try to outdo your buddies, but yet if your buddy's in need, you know, you're always there for them and try to help them out and give them a fair chance of winning as well, you know.
No doubt about it, and that's the great thing about it. And you guys that help even us lowly workers sometimes when we need a hand to move stuff and get stuff done. We're out here, and I got to give hats off to all the workers with Full Pull Productions, USA East, and Carolina Truck and Tractor Pullers, because that's kind of a combination group here that's working here at Galot Motorsports Park. Ladies and gentlemen, the gates are open, so if you're able to come out here tonight, no doubt about it, this is going to be a great show. You're going to see some different stuff. We're going to be seeing super stocks and pro stocks running together, which is kind of crazy. A 10,000-pound pro stock running against an 8,000-pound super stock. So we've got combinations with that. The light pro class is just insane. The run what you brung class and mini mods. Unfortunately, we had a couple losses in the mini rod class. Holt Strickland. He did what we call a Waffle House. It was scattered, smothered, and covered. And we had a small block Chevrolet. In fact, can y'all grab that piece of crankshaft right there? All right, so that's one of the. We found this in the track actually.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, so that's a piece of the crankshaft out of one of the small blocks. So, what?
Them whole shot tires don't like them things.
No, not at all. So you know, there's always some carnage. It's at the end of the season. Everybody's pushing everything as hard as possible,
Absolutely.
trying to get those points.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and sometimes points is out of reach. But like in the Carolina classes, second, third, and fourth in the high farm class is less than 6 points. And when you have a 50-point spread, 50, 48, 46.
Yep.
And 11 tractors or 10 tractors, boy, you have one bad run or one hiccup, boy, you just shot your down right down. I mean, you shot right on down the list.
Yep.
You're talking about points. I'm not deserving this year of points, but I'm second with Carolina Truck and Tractor right now. It's because of different things. But you know how I've run this year. But if you look at it, and if anything possible, if I could have bumped that sled tonight, I was going to bump it. But it's just not going to happen.
You said you could, if you took the gator, hooked it up, and drug it in fourth gear, you get it started.
If I could crank it in gear, I could go.
The only thing you couldn't really stop, could you?
I didn't last night, but I didn't know it till later.
Some of the things we do in truck and tractor pulling, I'm telling you. Folks, don't forget also, if you want to watch this live, say if you live a few hours away, you can't get here, go to WWP TV. check them out. I think it's $24.99 a month that you can cancel anytime. If you want to just watch this event, go back and watch other events. Definitely a way to do it. If you want to see what's happening during the show tonight, go to fullpullproductions.com. All the distances will be presented live. So when a vehicle runs, it will show up online what that distance is. So if you get the opportunity, go to fullpullproductions.com. Check that out. They got all kinds of other stuff on there also. But if you want to see what's actually happening during this show, that's what you need to pay attention to. Go there, and you can see them live. You can actually go on your cell phone, because that's what I was doing last night when I was down here. You can go on your cell phone, and you can look at that happening live. So I can keep up with what's going on, Yep. So, but folks, this is going to be one heck of a show. Pro Street Diesel's got a ton of those here. We lost one of those, unfortunately. They blew a head gasket. So, that's like we were talking about. But that light pro class last night was just, to me, the light pro, the run what you brung, and I got to say, Cody Singletary with his 2 mini rod passes was just unreal. He got 1 and 2 with those 2 tractors. I mean, you can tell. Yeah, you can tell he's been practicing all summer long.
Yeah,
because he has got that dialed in. I talked to him before we interviewed him down there, and he said he had actually gone up and he has replaced one of the superchargers and got one of them freshened up, just to finish out the end of the year. And he's going to have a baby. And I was like, I texted him. I was like, we need you down here to Winter Circle. He said, we'll be down there in a minute. So I walked up here, just kind of waiting for him. And he shows up, and kind of the rest of his entourage. Well, his wife is pregnant, and like really pregnant. We ain't talking like beginning stages. And he goes, I'm gonna wait on my wife. And we said, smart idea. That's a good thing to do. So Cody Singletary's here. We got a great mini class. Tim Ray's here also, one guy you don't want to cut out, because he's very experienced. If he sees something in a track that he knows he can take advantage of, he's going to do it. I mean, I'm looking at the names. Jaden, she has been unreal this season with some of her big runs in Fort Recovery and in Bowling Green. So
absolutely,
this show here, folks, you got some of the biggest names in pulling. The Sheltons are here with both of their pro stocks. He did an I don't even know how to describe it, insane run.
Yeah,
with that 369.05, and the second tractor, I think, was going to blow that one out the door.
Yep.
The ground speed was 37 miles an hour, almost 40 miles an hour.
That's moving
with 40,000 pounds on your butt.
Yeah.
I mean, that's hooking and booking, buddy. But folks, don't forget tonight, showtime, 7:00. Got a big show here for you. Come here, get you some food, walk around the pits, talk to the drivers. Some of the drivers have T-shirts. If you want to grab you some Galot merchandise, grab that while you're coming in. And it's affordable merchandise. You go up, you buy a T-shirt, it's $20.
Yeah.
That's pretty cheap nowadays.
That's what we sell ours for, and that's cost.
And that's
me.
Yeah. You just try, and that's the thing. We're just trying to get the sport out there and kind of get it out there and get it going. This is a great facility, plenty of seating, comfortable seating. The food vendors, bathrooms are easy access. You definitely want to come out here tonight at Galot Motorsports Park. One thing I also want to mention too, we're gonna grab Josh up here in just a second.
Another thing on the Rung with Brung, you got Jeremy Yeager with Pipe Dreams.
Oh yeah,
he won back to back at Fort Recovery.
That was insane.
And then he won the Enderley. That truck, it has potential to be up there and winning too. So
that truck, though, I noticed it did the same thing in a couple of the other Grand Nationals that he was at. It hops hard out of the hole, but now if he can get a smooth launch, you ain't touching him.
Absolutely, yeah. It's trying to find that fine line, and I'm telling you, just sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't.
Well, how much horsepower is that class pushing now?
Oh, I don't know. I imagine I'd say a Dougie Martin with the nitrous truck. He's probably in the 2,000 range, and then you go up to Jeremy's probably pushing more here than any one of us, and he's probably, I would say, 3,500, 3,800 range, maybe.
And you're trying to get all that horsepower with 4 little tires. I mean, that's
the hardest thing is trying to get the right. And then we use Nichols tires. Nichols tires have been pretty good. Chad Mayhill makes some good tires too, but it seems like some of the tires like low tire pressure, and others don't. So it's a different type of ply on some of them. So it's a trick on. Well, you just you've been pulling, you got to figure out your stuff and try to find that niche.
How many different brands? I mean, we talk about it a lot, especially in the light pros with the different brands. You got Park, you've got how many different options do you have now for a light pro tire?
You got Parks, Whole Shot, the Puller 2000. I ain't gonna give up a name, but you're gonna see a tractor that switched from last night to tonight coming in tonight that I saw in the pits.
I don't mind giving it up. In fact, I talked to him. We were walking out of the restroom while earlier in the day. I'm not, when you got to go, you got to go. But I was like, he was right on the wheelie bars, and he said, "I need to wait." He said, "So I'm gonna change tires and see what happens." That's Kendall Beasley on the high gear.
I thought he switched to the better one. So what is he going to do tonight? I didn't really pay attention. I just know he changed them.
Well, I mean,
it might be an advantage for him, though.
Yeah. That's the whole thing about pulling, just trying to get that extra foot or two and get that advantage. And I used to run a turbine pulling tractor. One of the biggest things I found out, we had two sets of tires. We had an old set of 8-ply Firestones, real lightweight, cut down. I mean, they, more cord showing than rubber. And then we had a set of 10 plies, had a pretty good sized cleat. Certain tracks we'd run the 8 plies, certain tracks we'd run the 10 plies.
Absolutely.
So, we had plenty of movable weight, so we weren't worried about weight that much. So that's just some of the little things that you got to change. And we're talking big money too, because some of these tires, I mean, I've heard of whole shot prices 10, 12, or even higher than that. Is it higher than that now? Maybe I was thinking used.
I hope my wife ain't watching, but if you get the rims to go with them, you're looking at about 18.
Oh,
they're a little bit more.
Yeah, yeah, that's insanity. And like, if you think about a mini rod, some of those guys that go through 2 passes and those tires would be trashed. We used to run a blown mini rod, and we'd hit a bad track, or we would set up wrong where it turned too many. The wheel speed was too high. And it basically burned the cleats off of me and my cousin back in the day used to run a turbine mini, believe it or not. And we stayed up to 1 o'clock in the morning mounting them tires. We made one pass in Goldsboro, North Carolina. Got through with that pass. We unbolted them and put the C-Pex back on because there was nothing left of those old Firestones. Well, they were new Firestones at the time, but they were old junk after that.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So I tell you what, guys, I want to bring Josh in here and talk a little bit. But we're going to see you guys tonight. You're ready to go.
Absolutely.
You're going to just be hanging out and supporting Alan, right?
Yeah. Alan be running the hot farm tonight. Austin's actually here, so he gets to watch. So if we can get the 2 of their driving styles into one, we're going to finally put it in the winner circle one of these days.
Hey, man, he's been knocking on the door of second place. I mean, I'm just waiting for – in fact, there was a couple of times we were in Greenville, South Carolina, and I was like, oh, he's got this one. There's nobody going to – and here comes Justin Sturvett, and he just comes making a road. And I'm like, really? I thought, Alan had won this. But, we had some new winners last night, and it's going to be a great show tonight, and I appreciate you guys joining us. But I want to pull Josh in here and talk to him a little bit. He's a man that's running everything. So,
I got to say, I'll tell you one more thing on the Run With Your Brung class is the yellow truck shark bait. Jesse
That's
Warren.
One of the sickest sounding trucks I've ever heard in my life.
He's a fellow that only has an 8th grade education, and he has Warren diesel injection, and he learned all the stuff on that 6.0 Ford Power Stroke engine all by himself, and he makes motors and heads all by, like, the boy is brilliant, very brilliant and talented. And this summer, his truck has a couple second places and a first, I think, maybe 2. I'm not sure, but when you least expect it, he'll come out and just blow the doors off of all of us. It's very impressive.
If you come out here tonight, or if you join on WWP TV tonight, definitely listen to how that Ford sounds, because it does not sound. I mean, I've heard some people that souped up some Fords, but this thing
has its own sound, buddy.
It is. It's almost kind of like Robbie Crutchfield with Marty Harrell's. It's called the Pure Country, but if you work on it, we call it the Jackass. It has a distinct sound. It's just how it's built with the head flow, the intakes, the whole 9 yards. And that's one thing about all these people that are getting into sport. You kind of have your big names out there, but these underdog guys, those are ones you got to watch for, because they're designing and they may find something that nobody else has really thought about.
Absolutely. Yeah. He works his butt off to get things going. And I'm telling you, it's just very impressive. and I just give it to him like for somebody doing something that everybody else has given up on, the 6.0s especially. Like he's done a great job.
Yeah, and that's like we talked about. It's all about the experimental stuff, trying to find the niche and trying to really bring out the next level of the sport, because somebody's going to stumble across something and it's just going to.
Absolutely.
Yep. You got.
No, I'm glad to make a new friend here. Just met him today, but I'm glad to know he's next to Weimer because we got a turbo that needs to go back.
We can arrange that.
We normally haul it with us. I ain't got it this weekend, but I
Okay.
appreciate it.
You got it.
All right, guys. I appreciate you joining me. I'm gonna bring Josh in here just a minute because I want to speak to him for a little
Thank
bit.
you.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it very much.
I hope y'all didn't miss the drivers' meeting.
Well, we have somebody represent us. Thank you.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh, has he already done it? Oh, okay. Thank you, guys. Come on up here, Josh. Grab a headset and a microphone. Hey, see if it's turned on. Is it turned on? There we go.
It is now.
It is now. Josh, I tell you, this is a great facility. I love coming to Galot. It's a great layout. It's an easy layout to work around in the pits. It's just a great facility. But you've got a ton of other things going on here at Galot Motorsports Park. I mean, you had a great event last weekend. Tell us about where we can go and where we can find out with all the stuff that's happening here at Galot Motorsports Park.
Obviously, all of our social media pages, which is Galot Motorsports Park, and our website is galotmotorsportspark.com.
Well,
Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, it's all there.
You name it, it's there. So, this is your second pull. You had the first pull in the spring. Fantastic show, great track. Everything was perfect for it. You've got a little bit different show here tonight, but I think, and I was even talking with some fans in the pits after the show was over, and they liked the combination of the classes, taking the diesels and putting them against the alcohols and letting them fight it out, and then the run what you brung class also. So, what are you looking forward to as far as pulling here? What are you looking to do here as far as truck and tractor pulling?
Well, kind of to go back on what you're saying, like I think anytime you can do something different or a one-off, or I'm not privy to what happens at most pulls because I don't know a whole lot about the industry. Like my first event, the first time I'd ever seen this ever in my entire life was in the spring, right? So I'm still trying to learn a lot of different things, but I think this is no different than drag racing or any other form of motorsports. You kind of have to be diverse and evolving. And I think anytime you do something different, or whether it's a one-off or starting a new trend, it gives the spectator something new to see, and it sparks an interest, And
you had, like we were talking about, you had two totally different shows. You brought back some things that people are familiar with, but bringing in those diesel trucks and bringing in those different classes and mixing them up, I really think has brought out a different level, because I was even talking to some of the pullers that's normally just pulled in one class, and he was like, it was actually pretty dang cool that I got to pull against the pro stocks to see how I match up against them, or how I need to set up. So tonight, when I hook up against them, I got something better for him.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I think it's really cool. It's just different, and I think, like I say, the run what you brung stuff, I don't think we didn't have that in the springtime. And I think that crowd is just different too. And I enjoyed that just as much as any of the rest of it.
The nitro truck, when it came by me, I was down here and it was shooting flames out about a foot and a half. And I mean, flames out of those headers. And I'm thinking, there ain't no way that paint job's going to hold up underneath that thing.
It kind of reminded me of like when the Pro Nitrous cars that run on the drag strip used to have bullhorns on them versus the Zoomies everybody has now. They're throwing those long blue flames and even the way it sounded, it just sounded so cool because that thing was screaming.
You ain't kidding. I'm glad I'm not the piston inside that engine. If I was that, I would be like, no, I'm out. I'm good.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, it was really neat. And seeing the trucks and stuff like that is cool. And I think anytime like you have stuff like that where someone can see a truck or see anything, whatever it is, and they can relate to it. You know, it's kind of like drag racing because, you know, when they can come and watch cars go down the racetrack and they can see, you know, well, I drove that same car in high school. You know what I mean? It kind of gets that, you know, there's something, gives them something to relate to, and I think that's really cool with that class as well.
And with some of the diesel truck classes, they're running a 12 valve Cummins. You know, I mean, there's nothing. Now there are some here that are running billet blocks and other performance items, but it kind of gives them something when they go home and say they got an old 12 valve, old Gen 2 or something like that, and they're like, yeah, let me just go ahead and stick it.
All right.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and change the pump, stick a bigger turbo on it.
Right.
Cut everything off of it. Let's just go for it. Right.
It's cool, for no doubt.
So, you know, ladies and gentlemen, tonight, 7:00, this is going to be a great show. We're going to try to get you out of here in about 2.5, 3 hours because we don't want you to be here all night, but we want you to be here, see all the action, hear all the noise. You'll feel the ground shake.
Absolutely.
Here at Galot Motorsports Park here tonight at 7 p.m. So, Josh, any words of advice or?
Well, what about the weather?
Oh man, it's been perfect this weekend.
Like this is like I don't think we could have paid cash money for better weather.
Look, it's been a wet summer for pulling.
Yeah, bad here.
Yeah, and same way with you in the drag racing world. So it's not been hot. It's not been cold. And in fact, it was perfect last night. Probably about 9:00.
Yes,
it was cool.
Yep,
wasn't hot. The gnats weren't in my face last night at 9:00 like they are right now.
Right.
But,
from now till dark's a tough time, but once it gets dark, it goes away.
Trust me, I know how it is. But great venue here. You can get all kinds of sorts of food: ice cream, seafood, hot dogs, hamburgers. I had a bologna burger last night, and I hadn't had one of those since Bowling Greens.
Awesome.
I was like, yeah, I got me a bologna burger.
Yeah, several different vendors. You know, we have our own stuff here as well, but the cool ice cream churn over there, and the taco truck and everybody else. So there's a little bit of everything. Cold beer if you choose, want something to drink. But
I can't partake of that because I'm working tonight. So
not yet.
Yeah, not
they
yet.
have to wait till it's over.
That's right. There you go.
But yeah, it's great weather. I hope everybody comes out, has a great time. Gates are already open. We decided to open a little early on Saturday to give people a chance to come in here and maybe walk around, take pictures, meet some of the pullers, and have a good time, hang out for a little bit.
Well, Josh, I appreciate you joining us. We're going to wrap this up because we got to go into pulling mode here. We're about an hour and a half away from showtime. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you get the opportunity, if you're within an hour of here, you've got plenty of time to get here. Hop in the car. Let's head down this way, Galot Motorsports Park, tonight here at 7 p.m. Gates are already open. You can get food, ice cold beer if you want one, and go check out the pits because there's some insane stuff out here.
Really, really good, and very people from all over. That's what's cool too.
I mean, we've got people from Ohio, Pennsylvania. We've got locals here though. I mean, and we talk about John Strickland's here with both the supers. Holt unfortunately had some bad luck last night.
Yeah, a little bit.
Cody Singletary's an hour down the road. We got several other pullers that are local. So some of the ones you've seen before, but we've got some stuff here that you've never ever seen. You definitely want to check it out here tonight here at Galot Motorsports.
Don't want to miss it. You can't make up seeing it in person.
Oh no. You can watch it, and don't get me wrong. If you're too far away, go to WWPTV, check it out. But if you're within an hour, hop in the car, load your butt up. Let's get down here to Galot Motorsports Park and make it happen here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap things up. One other thing I want to hit real quick, Full Pull. Go to fullpull.us online, and you can actually pick some of the winners. Like they've got games in there, you can actually pick. Yeah. So you definitely want to check that out. And they will have distances up. If you're not able to go on that app or decide not to, you can definitely go to several other forms of media, and you will see the distances coming up here tonight. Fullpullproductions.com. They will have distances live, so you'll be able to see what's actually happening on the track as it happens. As soon as basically, if I see it, you've seen it.
Live timing.
That's it. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap it up. We will see you. I'm going to be heading out to the track. Don't miss it. Tonight, 7 p.m. Get in your car. Get your butt here to Galot Motorsports Park.
Come see us.